Video we will discuss about the random numbers in the Ruby, how we can generate the random numbers and how we can use them. So let's start. If you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. I will teach you the Ruby and the complete full stack web development. You can check my channel as well. Thank you. Okay, let's start. So let's start by generating a random number. We can use the rand method. So this method is defined in the kernel module, right? And it will generate a random number less than 1, right? It will generate a random number from 0.0 to 1.0. Okay. So this is the simple way to generate a random number. So for example, if you want to generate a random numbers in any range, you can pass the argument as well. For example, if I pass the 10, then it will generate a random number between 0 and 9. It will generate a random number less than 10, right? So you can see that if I run multiple times, it will generate a random number differently, right? In this way you can generate different type of random numbers. For example, you can also pass the range here as well. For example, if I pass the range, for example 10 to 20, then it will generate a random number in this range, and 10 and 20 is included because this is the inclusive range. For example, if I hit enter, you can see that it generates a random number between this range. So that's the other way to generate the random numbers. We can also pass the exclusive range as well here. Then this 10 and 20 is not included. It will never generate a random number of 10 or 20, but in between it can generate it. The 10 is included, but the 20 is not included. This is the exclusive range, and this is the inclusive element. Right? If I hit enter, you can see that the different type of random numbers are generated. Okay, let's say here you can see that each time it generates a different random number. Suppose if I want to generate the same sequence of numbers, for example 13, 14, 15. Suppose if I want to generate this range again, then we have to use the kernel srand method, right? For example, we have to first set the seed. So we can set any seed, for example 100, right? So now the seed is set. Now if I generate a random number of 40, right, you can see that it returns 8. And then if I write 5 dot times, and then if I loop it on that range, and in this in the block we can generate a random number, right? So here you can see that it generates the 5 random numbers: 8, 3, 7, 7, 7, 0, right? If I hit enter again, it generates a different random numbers. So for example, if I set the seed again, okay, yeah, and then if I generate a random number again, you can see that it again returns the 8. And then if I run the loop again, you can see that it reproduces the same random numbers again. So that's the benefit of the seed. We can generate the reproducible random numbers again. Okay, these are the simple random numbers, for example of integers and the float, but you can also use the another library that is secure random number. For example, if we require secure random, okay, now this is now included, then we can use the secure random dot random number. So you can see that it generates the same random number from less than 0, right? But you want to use the more secure random numbers. For example, in this way you can pass the secure random dot the hex method. So you can see that it generates a very long random number or mixed of hexadecimal numbers and the integer numbers. So this is it generates a more secure random number. So okay, and we can also limit the range of this by passing the argument. For example, in this, if I pass the 10, then it will generate a random number of length 20. So if I check it, the length will be 20 because it generates a hex number, and hex number of is composed after 2 digits, right? So that's all about the random numbers in the Ruby. Yeah, I will see you in the next video. Yeah, till now, please subscribe and share it with your friends.